Well, today what we're going to do is a little experiment to see whether we can get different effects depending on the viscosity of the UV resin we use using the bubble effect. Now, I've done a video on this before using the classic, but what I want to show this time is once we've got the actual finished result, I'm going to try a different technique in colouring it as well, so we can look at that too. All I've got to make my bubbles is a dish soap solution, some water and a straw. And it makes great bubbles. And it's fun too. So first thing we need to do is I've labelled these classic, thick and thin. So we can actually check out which one is which. And all I'm doing first is pouring a little layer, probably about halfway up each one of these molds. Now at this stage I'm not worried about this curing up because I work in a light free zone. There is no natural light that comes in here. So that's the classic, and this is the high viscosity one that I used a lot for doming and for making jewellery with. So I'm going to put the same amount in there, and then the last one is going to be the low viscosity one, which is really the quite thin one, and I use this a lot for covering things if I need a glossy shine or if I want something that's quite flat. I have got a video on how to use and when you would use each one of these UV resins. I'll link at the end of this one so you can check it out. Now, oddly enough, even though I'm going to make bubbles, what I am going to do is burst any of the unwanted bubbles that have come up the top. You may have to help them out of the really thick UV resin. The other thing is you need to be ready with your torch once you've got this sorted out, and get your bubbles to the size that you want them, and then lay your bubbles all over, making sure it's all covered, and then cure it up while your bubbles are on there. Simple as that. Well, that's all nice and cured up now, and we've got some great bubbles there. And the different technique that I'm going to use is I'm going to be filling those bubbles with some resin. Now I'm using the low viscosity resin for this because I think that will fill it and make it nice and flat. And I'm also using a transparent UV resin pigment for these. I love this pigment. It always gives me a great effect. And all I'm going to do is mix that pigment in with my resin. I'm doing it on my mat because I find that's the easiest place to be able to mix it in. Then when I've got enough finished, I can cure it up and peel it off the mat, and everything's lovely and clean, and I've not messed anything up. So while I'm mixing that, all I'm using here to mix that with is a micro brush, and I've literally just pulled the little brush bit off the end of it, and I'm going to fill these little dots up. If you want a deeper colour, then you can have a deeper colour. Pop a little bit more of the colour in it. But what you don't want to do is do it so it's so dark and deep that it affects the actual curing. So I've done some of that colour. Let's put some in there as well. Look how easy it fills up. Now I'm going to add another drop of this colour to darken this off a little bit. So I've got a slightly darker one of this, and that's the aquamarine. Okay, I'm happy with that. And now what I'm going to do is put some of those drops into the other ones as well. Well, now we've got those drops in there, what I'm going to do is go through with several other colours doing exactly the same thing. And then once I've done that, I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Well, I've added all my drops in there now, and I'm ready to cure them up. All I need to do is pop my lamp over there for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then that'll cure them up before I do the next stage. Well, they're nice and cured up now, and what I'm going to do is coat the backs using some mica powder. Now, I've got hold of some of these real brilliant makeup sponges, and to be perfectly honest, they do a really nice job of adding mica powder to resin. But because this is a little lumpy bumpy, because of the bubbles, is actually sticking onto the brush. So what I'm going to do is, for this one, use my makeup brush, because I think that will apply it a little bit better. All I'm going to do is brush that. Yeah, that's much better, covering that much nicer. Now, you could use a dark colour, or you could use this white. It's really up to you. So I'm going to go over each one of them like this. I'm going to do them all white because we want to see if there's a difference between using the thick or the thin resin or the classic. Right, so that should all be covered. Now I'm going to blow out or knock off all the excess. There, that has knocked off and blown out all the excess. And now what I'm going to do is use my low viscosity resin just to fill that in. Now, if I want to dome this afterwards, I can dome this ever so easy using the thick or the high viscosity resin, but we'll have a look and see how it comes out. So this side is already looking beautiful, and this is with the mica powder just showing. This is hopefully going to be a really pretty double-sided pendant. Look how pretty that is. Let's get rid of some bubbles. Funny getting rid of bubbles in here when we've tried to put, so hard to put these bubbles in. And let's cure this up. Well, they're all cured now. I think they look really pretty from the back, but it's going to be the front that's going to be whether it looks amazing or not. Yeah, look, you can see there's a slight bit of overpour on that one, so I need to just pull that one off. And there we go, they're all finished. I think they've come out really, really pretty like that. Now, with the white mica in the background, then it is a lot more translucent. If you were to put a black or a darker background on there, then obviously you wouldn't get that translucency. To be honest, I don't think it made a real difference of which one was used. Maybe the thicker resin gave a more of a concave finish to it than the rest of them. So the more viscous one gave a slightly deeper finish. So that's then made up as pendants. I think they've come out really, really pretty, and it is lovely and iridescent with that colour in. Such a simple idea, just takes the bubble technique to a different level. Please move that like button if you've enjoyed this video, and check out the video that's coming up next on the uses for UV resin as well, because I think you'll really enjoy that one. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.